Are we on? Oh, are we on? Thanks, Stephen, we're on. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome. Good evening, public. We're happy to have you here. This is the Jordan School District organizational meeting for 2021. It is Monday, January 4th, and it is 6:34 p.m. And we will start with, I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I'd like to ask Senator Pratt and our new board members to please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So the first item of business is the seating of our newly elected board members. This is a ceremonial oath of office. Our two new board members took the official oath of office. I believe it was like 2 weeks after the election. They had to do it within a certain amount of time. So tonight we're very honored to have with us to administer the ceremonial oath of office. We have Senator Eric Pratt with us this evening. He represents District 55, which is a good part of Scott County. Most of Scott County. Yeah. And he is serving his third term. Senator Pratt chairs the Jobs and Economic Growth and Finance and Policy Committee for the state. He also is on capital investments, finance redistricting, and the state government finance policy and elections. Senator Pratt served on the Prior Lake School Board for several years, and he used to be on the education committee. So he's very, very familiar with education, and he's a great representative as senator for our area, and we're very, very honored and grateful to have him here with us. So I'll invite him up to do the ceremonial pledge. We'll get a couple pictures, and then I'll ask Senator Pratt to share a few words with us. So,
sure.
Senator Pratt, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. You know, it's an honor to be here with you tonight, and so thank you very much. And it's an honor that you were elected to guide the education of your community's children. As you recite the oath of office, you assume a tremendous responsibility as director of your school district with the powers and with the duties empowered by the legislature. This power puts you and other board members of your school board in the position of being both morally and legally responsible for equitable quality education for every student of the district. In carrying out this responsibility, you will be asked to fulfill the role of vision, structure, accountability, and advocacy. In providing vision, the board, with extensive participation of the community, envisions the community's educational future and then formulates the goals, defines the outcomes, and sets the course for the public schools. To achieve the vision, the board establishes a structure and creates an environment designed to ensure all students the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. Whew. Because as a board you must be accountable to the community, you must ensure continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of children. As board members, you serve as education's key advocate on behalf of the students and your community schools to advance the vision for your schools. Furthermore, you must strive to work together with the superintendent and staff to lead the district toward fulfilling the vision that you've created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills and knowledge, citizenship, and personal development. Having signed the acceptance of the oath of office today, I would like to publicly affirm my commitment. I'd like you to publicly affirm your commitment. I guess I'm supposed to read that individually.
Yes, so Molly and Sarah will have you come up and stand right up here, one at a time. Let's start with Molly Moignac.
Okay. Hi, Molly. Let me say that part over again. Having signed the acceptance of oath of office, I hereby publicly affirm, repeat after me with your hand up. Having signed the acceptance of office and the oath of office. I hereby publicly affirm my commitment to the oath of office.
I hereby
I swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
and that I will discharge faithfully
and I will discharge faithfully
the duties of office of school board member
the duties of office of school board member
of Independent School District 717
of Independent School District 717
to the best of my ability and judgment.
to the best of my ability and judgment.
Congratulations.
Great. Sarah, and there's, or Molly, there's 2 forms up there for you to sign.
Okay.
You can take them back to your desk, and then one you can keep and one you can give to Holden.
I don't know.
Thank you.
If I gave you too many, give one to Sarah.
I'm right next to you.
I actually used to do this when I was on school board. You'd think I remember that. All right. Raise your right hand. Having signed the acceptance of the oath of office
Having signed the acceptance of the oath of office
and the acceptance of the office,
and the acceptance of the office,
I hereby publicly affirm my commitment to the oath of office.
I hereby publicly confirm my commitment to the oath of office.
I swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of office of school board member
that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of school board member
to the best of my ability, or of Independent School District 717,
of Independent School District 717
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations.
Molly, can I get you up here and we'll get a picture with you and Senator
I
Pratt?
don't know
and
if
we'll
I'm
get a
allowed to
picture
shake hands
with,
or not, but-
Doug and the boys and Sarah and Senator Pratt too, if you want to come up. Okay.
I'm gonna move out of the picture.
Okay, and then we'll get one with, Sarah's group. You stay in there.
Oh, you still want me?
You've been adopted.
Thank you, Lanans. Thank you. And I just want to note that Molly's family is not able to be with us tonight because Molly's husband is being sworn in as a city council member of Jordan,
Yes.
the Jordan Council, so.
And I wasn't gonna let my kids run wild.
So hopefully they're going to get to watch or at least see it
Yes.
later. So now I'd like to invite Senator Pratt back up to just share a few words about the upcoming session, about education, about anything that's on your heart.
Oh, my goodness.
And first of all, thank you so much. I know that the session starts tomorrow. You are incredibly, incredibly busy.
Oh.
And we truly appreciate you taking the time to
Well, I'll
come
tell you
out and
what,
do
this is really an honor. This is fun to do, and thank you for having me tonight. Do you mind if I just take this off for a
No.
second? It's kind of hard to breathe.
Yeah.
No, I want to thank you all for having me here tonight, and thank you for your service. You know, when I think back on my school board days and the work that you do, I can't think of a single public official that does more to influence the future of our country and of our state than what you're doing here today. My mom was a public school teacher, and so education was always really important in our house, which is, in a way, what prompted me to run for school board. It wasn't out of political ambition or anything else. It was like most of you. I had kids that were getting ready to go for school. There were things that I wanted to see changed. I wanted the best for them and for every other student in the district. And one of my favorite compliments, and I think it was a little bit of a backhanded compliment, was I got elected, and another school board member said, you know, Pratt, I've been trying to figure out your agenda, and as far as I can tell, you don't have one. And I appreciated that because I really wasn't trying to push any agenda. I just wanted to do what was right by the students. Growing up, probably like many of you, it was the schools that was kind of at the center of my life. I was active in sports. I did, I went to school every day. It was one of those things where maybe, and sorry, Molly, about your, but zoning wasn't what was interesting me. It was about helping those young people achieve their goals. And so I appreciate that you have all stepped up to do that as well. The other thing I would say, and the lesson that I've taken from my school board days to the Capitol, is that it's okay to disagree and still get along. I often disagreed with members of my board, and I lost a few 6-1, 5-2 votes, but to this day, they'll still tell me that even though we disagreed, we respected that you put in the work, you had sound, logical judgments. You weren't trying to push an agenda, but you just had a different view, but you were respectful about it. And I would say respect each other, because the community's looking for you to be a team. And so you need to be that team and respect each other and work together. Again, it's okay to disagree. I know superintendents always like 7-0 votes, but it's okay to disagree and just treat each other with respect and professionalism. And then view me as a partner. I'm here to help you be successful as well. And so I've always appreciated the communication I've had with board members. I got to say, almost every board member has reached out to me individually at some point in time, and I've always tried to answer, and we're working for the same people. We're working for the same families. We're working for the same kids. And even though I'm not on the education committee, it's still a passion of mine and something I want to see be successful. So I'm happy to be your voice in St. Paul and get your thoughts to the, either champion your thoughts or help somebody else who's already doing it, champion your thoughts as well and concerns. And I'd be happy to take any questions if you have any.
How do you see the session playing out?
So the question is, how do I see the session playing out? Certainly the first and foremost, this is a budgeting year. And we are facing a $1.2 billion deficit going into the next biennium. Probably a little bit larger because the deficit didn't take into account the latest shutdown. And then I led a bipartisan effort to help small businesses to the tune of about $220 million. And so that will fall down and most likely add to the deficit. So what does that mean? Well, unfortunately, education and healthcare eat up about 70% of the budget right off the bat. And so I've been a strong supporter of 2% increases, trying to keep up with inflation. Since I've been in the legislature, I can say that we've done it the last 6 times, all the times that in my last term. And I'm hoping that we can find a way to do that, but it might mean some cuts in some other places. And I'm also hoping to be able to push some special education reform that we were able to get started not last session, in 2019. Not taking away services from kids, but maybe aligning the rules a little bit more to take away the paperwork so that teachers could spend more time with their students. I spent 2 years on MRVSEC, when it was MRVSEC, and one of the things I learned talking to the teachers was not a single one of them said, I want to be a special education teacher so I can do paperwork. They have a passion for their kids, and I just want to create not only a cost savings for the district, but really a better experience for their students. But yeah, we're gonna really have to work on the budget this year, trying to make, and see what kind of federal help and stimulus we get, not only through the STORM Act that passed last week, but any other stimulus that might be coming as well.
Okay, thank you. Other questions for Senator Pratt?
Well, thank you all very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate the time.
Thank you
Thank you.
again.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much for taking time.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with this session.
My pleasure.
Good. Thank you. Safe travels and good luck. Okay. Okay. So the next part of the meeting, we need to do, we did the seating of the new board members, so a roll call, please.
Deb Pauley,
Here.
Sandy Burke,
Here.
Connie Hennan,
Here.
Lauren Patterson,
Here.
Ryan Leonard,
Here.
Sarah Lehman,
Here.
Molly Monty.
Here. Okay, noting that all board members are present. Consideration of the agenda. I don't believe there's any changes to the agenda since it was last published. So I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as published.
Motion to
This
approve.
is Sandy, so moved. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Sandy moves.
I'll
Lauren,
second.
I'll give Lauren a second. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Deb Pauley,
Yes.
Sandy Burke,
Yes.
Connie Hennan,
Yes.
Lauren Patterson,
Yes.
Ryan Leonard,
Yes.
Sarah Lehman,
Yes.
Molly Monty.
Yes. Motion carries. I don't believe we have any public comments, but at this time, I would like to acknowledge one of our longtime employees of the district, staff members, former coach, Mary Bright, who passed away last month. And I'd like to just take a moment of silence for all of us to remember Mary and all of her contributions to the students of our district and the families of our district. So, moment of silence, please. Thank you. I don't know if you were able to see it, but Channel 5, I think it was, ran a wonderful, wonderful piece. Channel 5 News ran a wonderful piece on Mary. I know it was linked on Facebook and stuff, so if you haven't seen it, it's really nicely done, so she will be missed. Okay, so the organizational meeting is the next thing. The first thing we do at this time is we read the general statement of policy. It's a good reminder for us as school board members to just reacquaint or acquaint ourselves with our role as a board. And so what we do with this is we read round robin, and Sandy, I see you have your printed copy in front of you, so you'll follow Molly as we go around, okay? So I will start. As a member of the school board, I will attend school board meetings.
Come to the meeting prepared for discussion of the agenda items.
Listen to the opinions and the views of others, including but not limited to other school board members, administration, staff, students, and community members.
Vote my conscience after informed discussion unless I abstain because a conflict of interest exists.
Support the decision of the school board, even if my position concerning the issue was different.
Recognize the integrity of my predecessors and associates and appreciate their work.
Be primarily motivated by a desire to provide the best possible education for the students of my school district.
Inform myself about the proper duties and functions of a school board member.
In performing the proper functions of a school board member, I will focus on education policy as much as possible.
Remember, my responsibility is to set policy, not to implement policy.
Consider myself a trustee of public education and do my best to protect, conserve, and advance its progress.
Recognize that my responsibility, exercised through the actions of the school board as a whole, is to see that the schools are properly run, not to run themselves, or not to run them myself.
Work through the superintendent, not over or around the superintendent.
Delegate the implementation of school board decisions to the superintendent.
To maintain relations with other members of the school board, I will respect the rights of others to have and express opinions.
Recognize that authority rests with the school board in legal session, not with individual members of the school board, except as authorized by law.
Make no disparaging remarks in or out of school board meetings about other members of the school board or their opinions.
Keep an open mind about how I will vote on any proposition until the board has met and fully discussed the issue.
Make decisions by voting in school board meetings after all sides of debatable questions have been presented.
Insist that committees be appointed to serve only in an advisory capacity to the school board.
In meeting my responsibilities to my community, I will attempt to appraise and plan for both the present and future educational needs of the school district and community.
Attempt to obtain adequate financial support for the school district's programs.
Insist that business transactions of the school district be ethical and open.
Strive to uphold my responsibility and accountability to the taxpayers in my school district.
In working with the superintendent of schools and staff, I will hold the superintendent responsible for the administration of the school district.
Give the superintendent authority commensurate with his or her responsibilities.
Assure that the school district will be administered by the best professional personnel available.
Consider the recommendation of the superintendent in hiring all employees.
Participate in school board action after considering the recommendation of the superintendent and only after the superintendent has furnished adequate information supporting the recommendation.
Insist the superintendent keep the school board adequately informed at all times.
Offer the superintendent counsel and advice.
Recognize the status of the superintendent as the chief executive officer and a non-voting ex officio member of the school board.
Refer all complaints to the proper administrative officer or insist that they be presented in writing to the whole school board for proper referral according to the chain of command.
Present any personal criticisms of employees to the superintendent.
Provide support for the superintendent and employees of the school district so they may perform their proper functions on a professional level.
In fulfilling my legal obligations as a school board member, I will comply with all federal, state, and local laws relating to my work as a school board member.
Comply with all school district policies as adopted by the school board.
Abide by all rules and regulations as promulgated by the Minnesota Department of Education and other state and federal agencies with jurisdiction over school districts.
Recognize that school district business may be legally transacted only in an open meeting of the school board.
Avoid conflicts of interest and refrain from using my school board position for personal gain.
Take no private action that will compromise the school board or administration.
Guard the confidentiality of information that is protected under applicable law.
Great, thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so now we're on to the elections. Technically, this chair has been vacated since the beginning of the meeting. It's been vacant. I've been filling in as chairperson. So now, nominations are now in order for the office of chair.
I nominate Deb Pauley.
Okay,
I'll second.
we don't need a second, but thank you.
Oh, we don't?
No, we
I thought we did.
not for nominations, but thank you. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I declare myself as chair by acclamation. Thank you, everyone. I'll try to do my best to represent you as board chair. So now nominations are open for the seat of vice chair. I would like to nominate Ryan Dannert. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I declare the seat of vice chair to be seated by Ryan Dannert. Congratulations. Next is the clerk position. Nominations are now open for the position of clerk.
I nominate Sandy.
Okay, Sandy's been nominated for clerk. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations for clerk? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I declare Sandy Burke clerk by acclamation. Okay, next is the position of treasurer. I will accept nominations for the office of treasurer.
I nominate Connie Hennon.
Okay, we have a nomination for Connie Hennon for treasurer. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I declare Connie Hennon treasurer by acclamation. Congratulations, all of you. Okay, on to the next item is the establishments, and we'll do these all in one fell swoop. We have the treasurer's bond in the amount of $100,000. We have our depositories. We use Franson Bank, Riverland Bank, Midslaff, which is a liquid asset fund run through like MSBA and a consortium of school districts. We have, that's where the investments are in, yes. We use Hometown Bank, we use Minnesota Trust and Minnesota Trust. So those are our depositories. For the newspaper, we have the Jordan Independent, our local newspaper. Investment authority is given to our superintendent and our finance director, Amy Haferman. Our meeting dates are set as the second Monday at 6:30 and the fourth Monday at 6:30. The second meeting of the month is a workshop meeting, unless it's published otherwise, because if it falls on a legal holiday or we have to change it because of something like that, you know, legally. And then our legal counsel that we use is Ratwig, Rozag, and Maloney. And the district reserves the right to use another firm as needed. I know last year we had to use another firm for specific reasons. And then the legal counsel authorized contacts. Typically, what they do is they do the superintendent, and they also give the board chair the permission to talk to legal counsel. So if everybody's okay with that, that's who we'll put in there. And then, so that's it for establishments. So I will entertain a motion to approve the establishments.
So moved.
Ryan Dannert
Second.
moves, Connie seconds. Any discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Deb Pauley,
Yes.
Sandy Burke,
Yes.
Connie Hennon,
Yes.
Lauren Pedersen,
Yes.
Ryan Dannert,
Yes.
Sarah Lehman,
Yes.
Molly Meyer.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, the next item is board member compensation. The compensation, oh gosh, Sandy or Lauren, when did we change this last?
I think it was at least 8 years ago.
Yeah. So currently, the compensation is set at $2,500. The chair gets an extra $500, the vice chair an extra $300, the clerk $300, the treasurer $300. And then, did we strike the negotiations at $70 last year? Okay. And instead of that, we have meetings, so meetings that are less than 4 hours, like a half a day if you have to take off of work, then you get compensated $125. That would be like for going to the leadership conference. Or if you attend,
MSBA training.
trainings. Yeah,
Yep.
and any trainings. If it's more than 4 hours, you get $225 a day, so. And I believe that the negotiations, I've never turned in for negotiations, so, but I think technically you could turn in the 125.
I think that's why we struck it last year.
Yeah, I think
Is
so.
you, rather than
Yes.
having it be a separate, it was gonna fall under either the half day or the full day,
Full day, yeah.
compensation.
Right, okay, thank you. Okay, so, first of all, I'll entertain a motion on the board compensation piece.
Motion to approve the board compensation piece?
Okay, motion by Lauren to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ryan. Any discussion? I know last year, Matt had talked about doing a study to see how we compared to other districts. I know that we're low, but I think in light of what's going on in the world, in light of COVID and everything, I'm very content with just leaving it where it's been for the last 8, 10 years, so,
Agreed.
I agree. I want the money to go to the kids.
yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Okay?
And you have the right to charge mileage or whatever, if you so choose.
Right.
You don't have to bill the district if you don't want to.
Right.
And so,
But like if you do go to training, you can deduct, or you can turn in for your mileage at the state IRS rate. This year it's currently 57.5 cents. I don't know what it is for 2021 yet. But you can turn that in addition to the stipend, if you choose to. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Deb Colley,
Yes.
Sandy Burke,
Yes.
Connie Henning,
yes.
Lauren Peters,
Yes.
Ryan Gainer,
Yes.
Sarah Lehman,
Yes.
Molly Meyer.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, next to standing committee assignments. I'm going to pass these out. I kind of typed up a new format that summarizes it a little better. And I think you all have this working sheet that was in the board packet. And I think the best way to do this is, I had emailed and I had asked everybody what committee assignments they wanted, so I kind of divvied them up as best I could. But that doesn't mean that we can't, at this table, have a discussion if you want to be on something else or change your mind. So, can you pass one of those back here for, sorry.
No.
Okay, so budget finance, thank you. Budget finance, the whole board is on that. I mean, we are all responsible for being aware of what's going on as far as budgeting and finance of the district. And at every first meeting of the month, Amy does a good job of giving us an update on bills, and Connie's really good about going in and reviewing the bills and keeping us on task if things look out of wonk or we have questions about it. So we all serve on budget finance. I changed the order of these two. Which one do you want to work off? You want to work off of this one I passed out, or do you want to work off of this one?
The one you
The one
passed
you
out.
passed out.
Hand up.
Okay, sorry,
I don't
Sandy.
have that.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't have that.
okay, well, you'll be able
We'll
to.
surprise you.
We'll surprise you. Sandy's on
Okay.
everything.
You're on everything.
Oh, great.
So for city school meeting, Ryan and myself will stay on that, and Lauren will stay on that. Okay? You're good with that, Lauren?
Yep.
Okay.
Could you explain what that is? For,
Yes, the city school meeting it's a meeting, there's representatives from the city, 3 of them typically, along with Tom Nikkinen, and then from the school is our superintendent, and 3 members from this board. And we meet with the city, we try to meet 3 or 4 times a year, and we try to work collaboratively on things that we can share, or things that we can do collaboratively, working together as a school and as a district, so. We did have a meeting October, yeah, so we'll probably be having another one coming up here in another.
And usually those meetings are quarterly.
Yes. Okay.
Deb, do we need an alternate for this one?
You know, we decided not to,
Okay.
because we have 3 people already, so.
Gotcha.
What happens, Sandy, and we've seen that a couple times, like with policy, where if we put an alternate and they show up, then technically we have 4, which is, we're not supposed to. We violated the law, yeah. Okay, and then calendar committee, I moved Lauren on there. I was wrong, Sandy, when I talked to you earlier today.
Oh.
So Lauren, you were the alternate on that, and I just moved you on to that.
That's fine. How many times does that meet a year? Because I know they just met and I
Once.
wasn't able to attend.
One.
One.
One, and I wasn't able to attend that one, so.
I wasn't either, because it came up really quickly and I had a meeting for work, so.
Yeah.
Okay. No, yeah, that's fine. Is it usually in December when they meet?
Yes, typically in December, unless we can get going on it a little bit earlier. But my understanding is we went with the flexible learning year, which was a 3-year cycle of the calendar this last year. So this meeting was basically just looking at the draft for the upcoming year and making some tweaks, and we're still kind of in the middle of it, but we can talk about it.
Okay. Then that's fine.
Yeah, and there was really, I mean, the meeting, I don't know
Yeah.
if there was hardly any, there was just some minor
Minor
tweaks
tweaks,
to the,
yep.
to the calendar, so.
Yep.
And we had to do, like, next year will be a big year again, because then we'll be starting from scratch. But the calendar this year, we had to have in place because we applied for FLY last year,
Oh, yeah.
for the flexible learning year. So then we had to have 2-year calendar that we presented to the MDE.
Okay.
So we already had a draft for this coming year, so. So are you good with that?
Yep.
Okay. Communications, Sandy and Lauren.
Okay.
You're good with that?
Was I on that before?
I was, I think.
Yeah, Ryan was.
Okay.
Yeah, Ryan agreed to go off of that and put you on that full-time.
It's a fun
Okay.
one.
You'll do great.
Ryan agreed.
Well, I'm just curious, because what is it?
Communications?
Yeah, like, because we don't
communication
do is it the writing of the articles in the?
No.
No.
Okay,
plan. No.
We
okay,
meet a
We used
couple
to
of
do
times
that.
a year. Yeah.
okay. I'm cool with that.
And I made a
We
few
meet
suggestions,
once a
you guys
year.
kicked me off it right away.
What?
No.
Do you want it back? You can have it.
No, no, no.
You're more than willing. Anybody else?
I got off there to read the articles.
Yeah. Yeah, I did clean up some of the description, and I'll send that to Hope, because the communications had things in there that Cat does. It was like, you know, we're responsible for monitoring social media and stuff. That's not our.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
no.
we're all responsible for that, but Cat and the superintendent are the ones that take care of dealing with it and stuff, so. So basically, the communications committee, they kind of lay out the plan for the year, like, you know, we used to do the meet and greets in each of the schools, so,
And we have it laid out by stakeholder, right? So how the boards are gonna communicate with staff, with the public.
yeah.
Yeah, just sets the expectation.
Okay, and then community ed, rec and joint powers, we put Lauren on there and Sarah on there. And I believe, Molly, that's one you had asked for, but because of conflict of interest with Jeremy being on the city council, we couldn't do that. Correct?
Jeremy or
That's the
Jerry?
one,
Mhm,
yeah.
that's one.
Jerry.
Jerry, okay.
Yeah, you're related
What
to
did I
both,
say?
You
actually.
said Jeremy.
Oh, no, Jeremiah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, the other one.
The other one, okay.
And when do they meet, do you know?
I can speak, I'm sorry. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Joint powers, gosh, we've been meeting almost once a month. It just kind of depends. And hasn't it been once a month lately? But I think the next time we meet is going to be late in January, because you're on that with me.
I
And
know, but
then-
I've never been to a joint powers meeting because I didn't know about them. I've always been to the community ed and rec meetings, but I've never been to a joint powers meeting. I
Oh, no,
didn't know.
maybe you're not on those. But
these
the
3
community
separate
ed rec
meetings?
meetings have
Okay.
been.
They're two separate meetings.
Okay.
Yeah, they are 2 separate meetings. But the community ed rec ones, I think we've been meeting close to once a month. And
Yeah.
they're very brief and they've been virtual.
Yeah, they have been. So what is the joint powers?
Joint powers, I have been to that as well. I think Tom was on joint powers, and there were some city representatives. It's similar to the city school committee in a lot of ways.
Okay.
But they also work linked to the community ed, so Stephen Jensen is a part of that as well. And it's a lot of the joint work with the rec center.
Okay.
Mhm. That's more focused on the community ed
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah, the joint pot, we run community, what would you call it, park and rec or whatever, for
Yeah.
the city as a
Yeah.
joint thing, so that's the.
Right.
Okay.
So we'll have to make sure that you get tagged into those invites.
Yep. And Sarah.
Yes.
Yes. So. Okay.
That's good, because I went to one of those meetings and I was the only lady there. So, you guys carried on.
There you go. Then we have a Curriculum and Technology Integration Committee, Connie, myself, and Sandy. And then our student board rep, who I feel really bad about, because it's been kind of a crummy experience for her. We have a student rep who serves on the board, but because of COVID, hasn't been able to do it, so we'll work on that after COVID.
So this is a published meeting, right? So I, as a parent, I know I was not, I don't believe I was on this last year, but I would always go to that meeting, but I went in a parental capacity, not in a board member capacity. I can still do that because these are actually published meetings. So we wouldn't have an issue with the quorum.
Well,
We would, I think.
we would, technically, there would be 4 board members there, so then
Yeah.
it would be a quorum of the board.
But I thought that wasn't a problem if you, as long as it was a published meeting.
No, still.
No.
No,
You're always a board member.
yeah.
Okay, well, I went last year and we didn't have a problem with it.
I
Well-
think 'cause we just kind of run with it.
No, we had this discussion last year at the board table. I remember us talking about this.
Oh.
And that's why I'm talking about it
Yeah.
again.
Well, technically, there should be no more than 3 board members at a published committee meeting. And it is a committee, it is a meeting of the board.
But it's a committee meeting.
Yes, a committee meeting of the, a board committee.
When I went to officer training last February, that was what they were saying, is that it should be no more than 3.
Okay.
Okay, and then facilities, we've got myself, Ryan, and Molly on that. And again, that deals with all indoor and outdoor facilities and grounds, making recommendations on long-range facilities, maintenance plan, short-term building issues, custodial planning, facility place. What this, if we do end up moving forward this year or next year with a building bond, you know, this committee will be called into action again, so. And then we have negotiations. And there we've got Ryan and myself on negotiations. This will be a negotiation year with our teachers this year, so it'll be a big year.
Do we need an alternate for that?
Pardon?
Do we need an alternate on that? Because if your work schedule changes
Might not be a
With-
bad idea.
once COVID gets released, you
Right.
tend to travel a little bit more than normal, right?
Could, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just recommending that we put an alternate on that.
Okay, is anybody interested in being an alternate on negotiations?
I think the one stipulation with that we've had though is that you have to attend all, or you really should attend all if you're the alternate for that one.
And they meet meet during the day.
Okay. Are they usually morning or any
No,
time
right
during the
after
day?
school,
Right after school?
usually.
We've
Well,
done
it
morning,
depends. It
yeah.
depends, like in the summer.
Depends on what the bargaining group requests.
Yeah, right. In the summertime, it could be day, it could be early morning into whatever.
How do you think your work schedule's gonna be this year?
With the teachers, I was able to schedule around it. I mean, it hasn't been that big of a deal just because we kind of all got our calendars out. And, you know, I don't have spur of the moment trips right there. So I'm pretty confident I'll be able to attend, but.
Yeah, and typically like you said, we coordinate calendars. We have, if we go out far enough, so.
So do we want an alternate or do we not want an alternate?
It's up to the board.
Does anybody have
Somebody
the,
want to do it?
yeah,
I
does
mean,
anybody have the freedom to, in their schedule to? I have more freedom now that I work from home.
I mean, I will say, like, realistically, like, Renee is the lead negotiator, right? So, I
Yes.
mean, I do think we certainly can do it with 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically, and Amy is in there and
Katie.
Katie is in there. So they're kind of like the detail people that do the spreadsheets and stuff. And typically, there's a lead negotiator that does the talking and the other negotiators are kind of just the silent people there. That's just kind of how negotiations works, so.
Okay.
But typically, you know.
I just always thought we had an
Renee
alternate.
will be doing bulk of the talking.
We haven't the last few years, I don't think.
Well, I believe
had-
Ryan was
I
the
was,
alternate
yeah.
last year.
Ryan was last year, but
Ryan was-
before
And I guess
that, it
that's
was
where my-
just Tom and me.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think Jesse was. 'Cause
Yeah, so
literally
I-
when I showed up, you guys were like, you good with Jesse's assignments? I'm like,
Well,
okay.
Oh,
the
maybe.
reason we did
There were
that was
some years
because
we
we
didn't.
knew Tom had said he was going off the board, so we knew that we had to get
Yep,
somebody
Yep.
else trained in,
Sure.
and Ryan agreed to do it, so.
yep.
Take it for the team, Ryan, thanks.
Yeah.
You're the man.
I mean, and I guess that's where I'm coming from, because in 2 years, things can change, and we won't have anybody in line who's comfortable with negotiations. So if you want somebody on the alternate, I will do the alternate. I can't believe I just volunteered for it. But do we want to have that, because I'm now on for 4 more years, do we want to have that in the pipeline, the training in the pipeline?
Sure.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
That's a good point.
I don't know.
You just signed up for 4 years.
I know, I just can't believe I did
the
that, because
microphone.
it's just not what I
Sign
want.
up
But
for 4 years of negotiation.
it's not a 4-year commitment, it's a 1-year
Oh, I
commitment.
heard, oh, was that what you said?
I'm on the board for 4 years, but it's a 1-year commitment.
But if you're in training, I think that means you have to be, ready for the next year.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so then on to meet and confer and continuing ed and staff development. So meet and confer, we typically meet 3 times a year. If there are issues that the teachers want to meet about. Usually they do, usually, we do meet. Continuing ed is if there's a question about any of the requests by the teaching staff on their continuing ed process. A couple years ago, we had some issues where they were doing some online things that were not approved, whatever. And then personnel committee is if an issue arises that our superintendent feels she needs some backup on, and discussion on. So there I've got myself and Ryan, and that kind of falls in line with being on negotiations too, you kind of get to know them. And then we put Connie on there as the alternate. Are you okay with that? Okay.
And how often do you meet?
A meet and confer is 3
3 times
times
a
a year. And the others, last year, I don't think we met at all for any of those, the last couple of years, actually. Policy committee, we have Sandy and myself and Sarah on that. And policy meets, well, how often do we meet, Hope?
Well, in a regular space, maybe once every other month, but that doesn't always happen, so.
Okay, then on to the liaison or points of contact and ad hoc committee assignments. For the Education Foundation, I have Connie on there, and Molly, I put you on that.
Okay.
So we just have to find a way, we've been having trouble when they have their meetings, we have not been able to get into their Zoom for whatever reason, we're locked out.
All 3 of us.
All 3 of us, so we're gonna have to figure that out, so.
It's the
They have a meeting,
second Tuesday, third Tuesday.
it's always the same night as my Southwest Metro meeting, so it's a 3rd Tuesday.
Third Tuesday.
Mhm. And scale, Ryan, you're willing to do that?
I was the alternate for Tom.
Okay, but you'll move up to regular?
Sure.
And then I'll be the alternate there. Southwest Metro, I will stay on that as the board rep on there. Molly, will you be the alternate on there?
For the which one?
The Southwest Metro?
Yes.
Sandy, I think you did that in the past, but I know the last couple of times you weren't able to.
I know.
So
Yep.
will you be okay with letting Molly be
That's
the?
totally fine. Yep.
Okay, great. If you're okay with that, Molly.
Sure.
Okay. It doesn't happen very often. I mean, we meet every third Tuesday, and right now I'm the chair, so I'm always there, but in case I couldn't.
Does that
Okay.
interfere with the Education Foundation thing, 'cause they're the same days?
Well, yeah, they do. Yeah, it would.
I think it's just important that one of us be there so that we can bring it back, because we don't vote or anything on that, we're just bring the
Point of
report back,
contact.
so,
For the, yeah.
so that would be okay, I would
Yeah.
think.
And typically, Southwest Metro meets at 5:30, and our meetings are usually very short. So like, I've gotten done and made it back for the 7 o'clock foundation meeting when we were meeting in person,
Okay.
so. Okay, Booster Club, Sarah, as the point of contact and Lauren is the alternate on there?
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
that's fine.
Yep.
Sandy, we kept you on APAC.
That's fine?
Yeah, and I'll be the alternate. Connie, you'll stay on SEAC, the Special Ed Advisory Council? Okay. And then Legislative and the High School League, I'm the points of contacts on those. Is that everything? Did we do it
Health
all?
and safety?
You know, health and safety isn't on our list, Sandy?
We added that this year
Okay,
through the COVID piece, but
Right.
it's not an official standing committee appointment.
okay. Okay,
But should it be?
Yeah, should it be?
I mean, it could be. I don't know that other districts do that, but I mean, I like seeing you, Sandy. So.
Oh.
so
it's like
fine.
7 o'clock in the morning or something, but
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
It's early.
And how often have they been meeting?
Typically, it's a quarterly thing, but we've just met more frequently because of COVID.
Okay.
So,
Well, I would think at least like through this year,
through
we
this
should
year.
add it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
The
I agree.
transition,
yeah, that was the
hopefully.
intention, would be that this school year. And we were going to reevaluate in the summer. But,
So technically, is that a committee of the board then?
I mean, it's,
It's probably an ad hoc assignment.
yeah,
An ad hoc?
that would be more likely, yep.
Okay. And Sandy, you'll do that?
I would be happy to.
Okay. Excuse me. And let's see, I think I missed the Region 5 South Central Service Cooperative and Metro EXU.
I thought they didn't, isn't that, Sandy, what you were on and she's,
I gave it up a couple years ago.
okay.
Lauren is on that.
I am on that?
Yep.
Yeah,
And Sandy was the alternate.
yep.
Which one was it?
And basically, all, the Region 5 South Central Service Cooperative and Metro EXU.
I never
committee.
went.
Just the liaison, and basically, they, I mean, you don't go to meetings, I think.
No.
Some of them have an annual meeting that you could go to, the right, Sandy?
Yes, I went to it once, but it's pretty far away, and usually it's kind of during. Well, it's usually like around 3-ish, so it was hard to get to. But you're invited to that. There's also other meetings you're invited to, or you're just notified of the executive committee meetings, but it's not required. You get the emails,
Okay.
so
I think I need to look to see if I get the emails, though.
I think they were forwarded on. I don't get them anymore, so.
I feel like there's something that's missing on here.
There are a couple, can we, do we decide who's Region 5?
Yeah, do you wanna do Region 5, or, I mean, you have to watch your emails for that.
I do not want to do Region 5.
You don't wanna do Region 5, okay,
What is Region 5?
it's what I just said. Okay, so Region 5 is, they're the ones that provide support, like, to our district office, like, trainings on, like, helping Amy with finance things, and,
Is that where,
Katie.
like, we used them for when Katie was out on,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yep,
okay.
mm-hmm.
And what, and you just get emails?
Well, I'm going to ask the question as to who do the emails come from, because I don't think I've ever gotten an email from Region 5. So when I say I don't want to do it, it's because I didn't get anything last year.
I never did either.
Oh, well then, do we need a
So,
person?
Yeah, we do, we should, be, and the same with the South Central Service Cooperative, that's who we used at Waltman, that's his association. And technically, somebody, whoever is that person, could be going to their quarterly meetings or whatever to support that cooperative,
Well, we've done a training with Ed Waltman before.
I really like Ed
I
Waltman.
like him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I can
so-
see that, but if you're not getting emails from wherever they're not getting emails from,
well, I think it's a matter of contacting them and letting them know who the contact person is, getting on board.
okay.
And Metro EXU, are we still a member? We're a member of them, right?
We still get
I think so.
information, yep.
But there's no specific meeting commitment there, so.
So what is it?
Lauren wants off of there, so who would, does anybody else want to serve in that capacity?
So all you do is read an email and then come
If you
back
get
and
it.
tell
If
everybody
you get
what
it.
the email was about?
So I guess I can stay on it because I didn't, I mean, I didn't,
if you
literally, I'm like back to like October and I've got nothing in reference.
Yeah.
in reference to that, so.
Maybe we
yeah.
should reach out and make sure that
Yeah.
they have her on the
I
email
agree.
list.
Amy, you're on the call yet. We can reach out to Region 5, yes?
Yes, I'm actually on the Region 5 board,
There you go.
and I don't know that any board members get contacted from the region, possibly South Central Service Cooperative, but not necessarily Region 5.
So what's the board member's role for Region 5?
I don't know.
I don't believe that there is a board member role for Region 5. I would say it's more, a board member would have more of a role for the South Central Service Cooperative.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I know there's cooperatives across the state, and many of my board member friends from MSBA also sit on their service cooperative board or attend the meetings. So I think that's something that we could probably pursue and become more
Yeah.
active in.
Yep.
Where would that be, in Mankato?
In Cato.
And how often?
Yeah.
I don't know how often they meet, that I don't know.
And I can't speak to it. I'm
Amy, do
sorry.
you know?
I can reach out to the director for Region 5 and see if he has any information for me, and then I can forward it on.
Okay, that'd be great.
Because they work really closely with the South Central Service Cooperative.
That'd be great, thank you.
Yep.
So Lauren, you wanna do that or not?
Yeah, I can do it, but I need to, Region 5, I don't think we should have anybody because nobody from a board perspective is there. I think we should edit it to this to be the South Central Co-op
Yeah.
and the Metro ECU, and then actually figure out who I'm supposed to connect with, so I can connect with them to start getting the emails.
Okay,
Yeah, and I apologize. I can't add any perspective for what the purpose of that was.
Well, I've been on the committee for a year, and I can't add perspective, so.
And I was on it for several and I didn't either.
Got it.
okay.
So, yeah, I'm
So
fine.
I'll edit that out of there then too. Okay, so I'll leave you on there. And health and safety, we decided we're gonna leave that as ad hoc.
Yep.
And we'll put Sandy on there.
Yep.
Any other changes or any other committees that anybody thinks we as a board should?
Personnel was on the list, it just copies the negotiations committee, but it's always been listed separately.
What?
Yeah, I think you said it
She
with meet and
addressed it.
confer,
Yeah.
Oh, did she? Sorry.
but yeah, I think it should be separate. It's always been.
And then safe and supported schools,
I used to be on Safe and Supported Schools, I thought, and we haven't had a meeting
I don't know what
this
that
year.
is.
Safe and supportive schools, would that be a kind of a duplication of health and safety?
I mean, we talk about that. I think it's also a duplication. Actually, you and I did talk about that, Deb, when we met on this. The curriculum committee has really taken on that role with social emotional learning.
Right.
And so that was the duplication, and that's why you didn't list it separately.
So is it now under the curriculum committee?
Yeah, I think that's what
Yeah.
she was proposing with this, yes.
Okay, so personnel we put under with the meet and confer, continuing ed, and personnel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay?
So, wait a minute though.
So personnel
But,
isn't
but
with
Connie's the alternate for meet and confer and continuing ed,
Mm-hmm.
and Lauren's the alternate for negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
Is that,
I think that's okay. Everybody okay?
Did we want to add anything in the Curriculum and Technology Integration Committee about health and safety? Or whatever we were just talking about that we combined with that? There's no reference to it in that description. Do we need a reference?
I can combine them, if that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I think you could. You could take the social emotional learning component and add that to the description. I think that would be very smart.
Okay. Okay. Everybody's good then?
We do have a, do a motion for all the committees.
Yep. Mhm. Everybody's okay with their committee assignments before I ask for a motion? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to approve the
This is
committee
Sandy, so
assignments.
moved. Oh,
Sandy
sorry.
moves, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Connie, discussion? Roll call, please.
Deb Holly,
Yes.
Sandy Burke,
Yes.
Connie Hennon,
Yes.
Lauren Pedersen,
Yes.
Ryan Dinger,
Yes.
Sarah Lehman,
Yes.
Molly Meyer.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 6, the district delegates authority to make electronic fund transfers. We give that authority to the district's finance director. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Lauren, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Connie, discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Deb Holly,
Yes.
Sandy Burke,
Yes.
Connie Hennon,
Yes.
Lauren Pedersen,
Yes.
Ryan Dinger,
Yes.
Sarah Lehman,
Yes.
Molly Meyer.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, the next item is the board calendar. And Hope has done a wonderful job of condensing, making just a condensed calendar with our meeting dates. And then, I believe you're gonna still send us all the detailed one, right?
Yep, Brittany will include that for you.
Yeah, so there's a detailed one that lists out month by month, like the things that we need to address, like bus contract or, whatever happened, approve the milk and bread contract and snowplow contract, and breaks it out by month, what our duties are. So, but this is great, I like this, thank you. Okay. And we need to approve the board calendar. Right? You need a motion?
I don't think we have.
Okay, okay, then we're good. Okay, next is a confidentiality and conflict of interest policy. If you haven't already read that and signed that, please do so and give it to Hope. Okay, we're on to consent agenda items. We have the minutes from the December meetings, the monthly finance reports from December, the donations, and we have the donations from Minnesota Valley Electric Trust to Food Shelf in the amount of $1,000. Jeffrey Moeller to the high school band department in the amount of $20. Stephen Seapress, high school band department in the amount of $100. Scott County for Community Ed Fishing Club in the amount of $800. And Mighty Cause Food Shelf in the amount of $65. We have the policies, the Title IX Sex Non-Discrimination Policy, Grievance Procedure and Processing. It's the second reading of that policy. And we have the leave of absence request for Kimberly Pettinelli. So I will entertain a motion to approve consent.
Motion to approve.
Lauren moves, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Ryan, discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Deb Holly,
Yes.
Sandy Burke,
Yes.
Connie Hennon,
Yes.
Lauren Pedersen,
Yes.
Ryan Dinger,
Yes.
Sarah Lehman,
Yes.
Molly Meyer.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, we have, this is not an action item. It is, our superintendent is gonna give us an update on the learning model overview, so
All right.
take it away.
Well, good evening, Chair Polly, members of the board. Hope if you don't mind driving the slide deck, that would be wonderful. I thought it would be helpful, especially welcoming Sarah and Molly to the board this evening, to give an overview of where we have been with our learning model and where we are moving to this month. So we'll get started. So just some background for everyone. Back in July, we learned about the Safe Learning Plan model. Governor Walz released that emergency executive order at that time, and it really provided school districts a framework for decision-making on how we should get started and what mitigation strategies that we would need to have in place. Since that time, there have been several updates through executive order that we have responded to as a school district, augmenting the programming that we have and, really truly doing our best to make it the safest, most productive learning environment possible. Our team has been incredible. We have a task force. We have this team that works. We meet actually every Friday at 1 o'clock, even if it's for a short time, really to discuss the week, to discuss what new information is coming forward from the Department of Education, from Scott County. And that team is made up of several staff members, including teachers, administration. We have board members that sit in on that as well, and our directors. I always include this slide. I think our board members are probably tired of seeing it, but to me it's so important because we really use this to ground all of the decisions we make. We look through the lens of operations, through wellness, through the academics for all of the scenarios that come at us and how we respond through programming. And so back in July, they had this whole system that school districts needed to use, and they had these county data numbers, and they wanted us to create what they called at that time as a base learning model. So what we implemented the first day of school in September, actually August 31st for us was our first day, was called our base learning model. And if you recall, that was when we had our students in a hybrid model, but it was a unique hybrid model with our K-6, and we had a different hybrid model for our 7-12 students. We utilized a 14-day period case rate per 10,000 at that time. We also have weekly meetings we continue to with Scott County Public Health and other meetings as well with the commissioner on and off and other state officials through the health department and the Department of Education. So here's that snapshot that everyone saw for the first time in July, and that includes school district staff. As a superintendent, I saw this an hour before it was on Channel 11. So it was really news to all of us. And I will be very clear, these numbers are no longer the guide. They are no longer the bar that is set for decision making. However, it was the bar that was set for that base learning model to start the school year. So other things that are important to know about our learning model. Schools can always choose to be more restrictive. There is never a problem with that. However, if you want to go less restrictive, there are certain steps that districts have to take, including meeting with regional support, ensuring that all of the data is in line. And we also, as a district, are responsible to provide an online option for any student that requests that this school year. The other thing that's important to note, if there is a disagreement between the school district and the state in terms of what model we think is best, the commissioner gets the final decision. So in November, you'll recall we made a shift. So we shifted our model, we had looked at what's called the scalpel approach, and that was new language for school districts back in November. We hadn't heard that before, and that's where they backed off of that base learning model where they had all those county numbers and that was the chart and that was your model. At that point, they shifted to districts need to be very finely tuning and looking at the data. Look at what is the county data, but also look at what is it in your city? What is it in each individual school? Has there been spread and transmission? And so we had to look at all of those things, including how are your operations going? Are you able to maintain 50% capacity with transportation? Are you able to maintain your staffing? So we had to consider all of those things. And the other thing that happened, it was the trifecta for us, was there was another new executive order that added some shifts to the requirements for teachers in a hybrid model with prep time. And so at that time, we met as a board, I want to say on November 12th, and talked through what we needed to do. And with the increased COVID data, the community and local components, we had some staffing issues that were coinciding with that. We made the decision based on that and the new executive order to adopt the hybrid model, or excuse me, the distance learning model that we are currently in. One of the things that I think is important to point out, and I call it distance learning 2.0 because we learned a lot from how distance learning went the first time around, and that's not unique to Jordan. School districts across the state were addressing distance learning models very differently this time around. We knew from the feedback from our community and from our staff and from our students that we needed to have some things in place. One of the things was the board approved one-to-one devices this past summer, and that was huge, so that we had that support for students. And our technology department, Stephen Damlow, the principals, all of our staff worked really, really hard to make sure that our kids had those and they were prepared with how to use them. Did some really phenomenal things with that. The other piece that we knew was really important is that we needed to have really good academic and relationship priorities. We needed to make sure we had a way to monitor student engagement. We couldn't hear stories about my student was done and they were fishing by 9 a.m. Like, that was not going to be happening this year. So we really worked intentionally at all 3 buildings uniquely on how to make sure that we were preparing our staff and our students to have meaningful, engaging learning opportunities moving forward with this. So they had very well-developed schedules. Our attendance, we've been monitoring. We've had great attendance, which is really a positive. I was a little nervous to kind of even see what those initial numbers were, and our attendance was really good, almost the same or the same as it typically is in person. So that was a change. That was a good thing. The other piece I will point out is our families are amazing. We have the best partners in our parents for our students. And so while this is not the model we ever want to be in, it's the very least desirable model, our families and staff have done a great job partnering in this short term so that we can make another shift moving forward. So I'm just going to give you some local updates on the data, and I will point out that this data is a little lagged. We didn't get data last week from Scott County. This is the most recent I have. I know I'll get new numbers on Thursday, and for our new board members, every week I do a weekly update, and it's kind of an email, kind of a what's happening this week and what to have on your radar piece. The first thing that I put on there is what's the updated COVID data look like, so that you can kind of see some of that. So here's just a visual, and you can see this is early October, and you don't need to get in on the numbers entirely. I just want them to see just the how it kind of transcends up and then down. So yep, perfect. And so you can see that very last piece runs through 12/19, and so we've been trending consistently downward. We anticipate it will be lower again, moving forward. But you never know with the holidays, but it has been a different trend. And so with the City of Jordan, we have approximately 6,500 in our community. Through the 19th, we knew of 62 positive cases out of those 6,500, which puts us at about 113.3 cases per 10,000. One of the things I would say is we're continuing to decrease each week in the City of Jordan, and it's really likely that the number I give you Thursday will be even lower than that, but I won't know until I see it. The other piece that we do is we monitor with the dashboard. This is something that, it was a great discussion on whether or not to have a dashboard or don't have a dashboard. And initially the state said don't do one, and then they said let's do one. So this is what we have for a dashboard, and it's kind of helpful because it kind of gives you a nice vision of where we are for that week-long period, and this reflects through the 20th of December as well. And the things that I would note is since we've been in distance learning, we've documented an average of 0 to 3 cases, positive cases, within our students pre-K through 12. The last 2 weeks, we've only had 1 reported positive case, and with staff, we've had 0 new cases for the last 3 weeks. So the 16th of December, we did receive another update, a new executive order. And at that time, Governor Walz announced a change to that safe learning plan and shared how schools would be able to do a rolling start process to start getting our youngest learners back in classrooms. And so one of the pieces with the rolling start process is they grade band. They don't want more than 3 grade levels per building unless there are unique circumstances, which I'll mention on one of the upcoming slides. But for us, we were then able to, and we were kind of inching towards that anyways. We had a scheduled meeting with regional support, and the regional support team is comprised of our local team that I referenced, but also it has Scott County Public Health, it has the Minnesota Department of Health representatives, and it has the Department of Education on there. And what their role is to look at your data, look at your plan, provide you input and feedback, yes or no kind of scenarios with that. And our meeting was scheduled for December 16th at noon. And on December 16th at 11:45, they canceled it. because the governor spoke and shared this. So we ended up meeting with them on the following, I think, Monday the 21st, I think, and I'll share what we landed on. And so for us, based on that data and based on, we had great approval from regional support. They said the nicest thing. They said we were very organized and more organized than many districts that they meet with, and really appreciated the thought and detail that we had in our plan. And that really is, that's a shout out to our team, our directors and our teachers that are on that committee. They just do an exceptional job for us. So we will be shifting our learning model to start rolling in students in person and out of distance learning, so that by February 1st, all of our students will have some form of in-person. So K-6, what does that look like? So for us on the 19th, and actually I'm going to start by just noting the dates on the top, and we've already communicated this with our public several times, but just so as a board, those transition days that are noted, those are required. They're part of the executive order. One of the things that it's been a really good part of the executive order plan is making sure districts reserve time for staff to prepare and to make sure that we're ready for students with all the mitigation strategies, but also instructionally. And so we have those 2 days. So those are non-school days for students. And then we had that regularly scheduled PD on the 18th and the 22nd as well. So I just wanted to note that. On January 19th, we'll be bringing back our K students, first grade students and second grade students all day, every day. So that will be really an exciting day for us. And then our 3-4 students, we have to have a 2-week window with the rolling start. 2 weeks later, our 3-4 students will be added to that building. So all of our elementary students will be back. Because the middle school is a whole other building, and 5th and 6th graders are considered elementary students per statute, we are also able to bring back 5 and 6 all day, every day, and they'll be starting as well right away on January 19th. And so I won't read these. I've shared these out a few times, but you can see there are a lot of updated requirements and a lot of mitigation strategies that have to happen. It's kind of the strings attached to being able to roll students back into the buildings. I would say one of the most talked about pieces is for our staff, that requirement to be shielded and masked. They've rolled back on some of that language recently. I think on Christmas Eve we got an update as well that for certain instructional, times, if you need to be able to see the face, you can wear one or the other. For somebody teaching driver's ed, of course, we're not going to block your peripheral vision, so they've rolled back on some of that. But I would say that's a big piece of it, as well as students in physical education. And we have requested, explanation on that, and they've held very, very firm on that at this point. But there's still time. But that is one of the major questions. Learning plan for 7-12. Again, I noted those transition days. The decision was made 7-12 based on what works best in those models with finals and different things. Their transition days are spread out a little bit. So they have one on the 15th and one on the 21st. And then they have those regularly scheduled PD days. We noted finals on there as well. But we got approval from regional support to start 7-12 on the 25th, which is the start of our second semester. So we're going to be doing that ABABC hybrid model for them on that. But it's a really good plan. It's a solid plan. I would say for the middle school, there are some shifts based on, I know Ben has worked incredibly hard, Mr. Bakeberger has worked incredibly hard with the staff and with, families and such, and they're augmenting that model so that there's more of a schedule, a typical schedule with students rotating parallel to what we've safely done at our high school all along in the hybrid model. So that will be a nice transition for them. And again, for 7-12 in hybrid, the state has said they have to follow the old guidelines, and I've noted that there, on the slide as well, with the 6 feet social distancing and things like that. So there are some other fine details that we continue to go through. One of the things, a slide I didn't add on here, is the required testing component. And so as a school district, any school district that will be doing anything really outside of distance learning is required every other week to offer saliva testing for staff. And so Chad Williams and our nurse team, they've been phenomenal in starting to set that up and make that happen for our staff. So we'll have that testing happening right here on site for our staff. And we get assigned a day. I think our day is going to be Mondays, but Chad will be communicating that all out. We're still doing some planning, but I think it should be shored up probably by Thursday this week. The other thing I will note is great exciting news as well. Gosh, I think just prior to the holidays as well, with athletics, practices start today, and then activities will start on the 14th. There are some things we don't know yet, and things we do know. I think Joe got confirmation that coaches don't need to wear shields, but they can wear masks. Things we don't know is, will there be requirements for teams to all have matching masks like the uniform? We don't know about, hockey, there's a couple of things with hockey and how they sit. And we don't know about spectators yet, what that will look like. And I've been told that'll be coming. We just don't know yet. So, but that's starting today. And so for us, this is truly a planning time. Our teachers are teaching and working really hard with kids, but we are getting ready to bring kids back to the buildings and have our buildings full. And of course, there are questions. I get questions like, do you think that we'll have prom? Do you think we'll have graduation? Do you think we'll get back? Honestly, in a perfect world, I would love for our data to be amazing, and I would love to be able to have everybody back even by spring break, and I'm not making that promise, but gosh, that would be the best thing in the world, to have all of our kids back and that. But it's gonna depend on, how we respond as a community and how, our data ends up looking, and, but we're very excited that we are making these steps forward. Questions? Yes?
As I recall, like, the regional support piece is pretty much, as they've told us, done
Yeah.
for K through 6, so.
Yeah.
But as we look to change the model from the
Yes.
ABAB for the older kids, we'll have to re-engage with
We do.
regional support.
Yes, we 100% do. And they, just over the holidays, created a new request form, so it won't be me just emailing them and saying, hey, can we meet? There will be an actual formalized form that we'll have to submit, and they'll reply to us and schedule that. But yes, any future shifts for 7 through 12 go through the regional support team. K6 is done. Well, that's all I wanted to share. I know it was a little bit condensed, and there was a lot of information as well, even in that version, but I do provide updates every week on Friday as I learn new information, and sometimes I learn new information daily. So we'll keep you all posted on the things moving forward. And again, I just have to say to our families, amazing partnership, we're grateful. I would say to our students, they're working so hard, we're really proud of them. And our staff has just been knocking it out of the park, just so positive and so ready to step up. So we're very fortunate. Thank you.
Great, good, thank you. Okay. Typically at this time, Sarah and Molly, that we would have all of the administrative team would have a board report attached to the agenda, and we would go through those to see if anybody had any questions, but because of the holidays, we didn't require that of them, so. Committee reports. Have we had any committee meetings since?
I have.
Yes, we did. We did. Connie, do you want to go ahead?
Aaron's still on, or Dr. Yamlin's on. We did have curriculum. It was a really, really good discussion. We talked about, Stephen's gone, talked about technology, talked about where we are district-wise and how we are quite successful and we are technology strong. Talked about he's already getting bids for ordering the new series of Chromebooks. Talked about a lot of conversation were, something that Ryan had shared about the barcode scanning in and how popular that is with the families, that the elementary or even the kindergartners know how to get on themselves and can get right into their classes. We did have a community member bring information up, questioning when we teach keyboarding, and found out that we don't teach keyboarding. He, as a business person with a technology background, felt it was really strong because kids know how to do this, but they don't know how to send emails, and they don't know how to respond fast because they don't know how to type. So that was kicked back to, I believe, Jeff, Mr. Visner, in 9th grade, they do some kind of freshman orientation part of it, and they were thinking that they could get that brought back into that class. Right now, the schedule is 5th graders and 9th graders will always be the ones that get the new devices. So that was interesting because the kids would have that to look forward to. They're gonna still stay strong, and especially since there is so much technology. We're working with the security and the Go Guardian so that kids know where they are in the world, and keeping kids safe, because knowing what's the appropriate way to use the computers, also keeping the district safe, that kids aren't using things inappropriately or getting into things inappropriately that could make the district liable about it. Again, talk more skills and keyboarding came up numerous times. The expense is something that Stephen has already built into his budget, and he feels really, really confident that we can stay within our budgeting guidelines even with our budget cuts. That's pretty much it in a nutshell, unless Aaron has.
Can I add one thing? I just want to also just add that we do have the Type to Learn program for our elementary students as well, and I know that some of our teachers do utilize that.
Okay.
That's great. Good. Oh, did Scale meet, Ryan? I'm not sure. Or
They did, but that was in,
was that before our last
that was
meeting?
early December, yeah.
Okay.
I think we
So
talked
it
about
was
it in our
reported.
December meeting.
Southwest Metro, we did have a meeting in December. Typically we don't, but we had a special meeting. We had to do a final approval of the Dean Lakes property. And I just drove up there on New Year's Eve and signed all the purchase agreements, and so it is ours. We're planning on having our first in-person board meeting there in February. So we're looking forward to that. So, and when the time comes, it would be really good for the whole board to go on a tour of the facility. And because of COVID, I don't know if they'll do it this year, but typically they've done a bus tour and they've taken board members around and superintendents and counselors and stuff around to a lot of their sites, because we're spread all the way from Buffalo down to all over the place. We've got facilities, so very exciting times there. And actually, Mr. Helgerson dropped off the full plan for Site Logic, that they had done the plan for the building. So he dropped that off at my office, and then for Renee today for board members and superintendents for the site. There's actually not a lot of work that has to be done to that building to get it up to speed they're gonna be moving the corporate offices in there. They're gonna be moving the transition programs that currently are in the Shakopee Town Square, going to move there. The ABE, Adult Basic Ed program, will move there. The programs that are currently in the CAP agency building will move there. Ultimately, eventually, some of Career Tech will move there. I mean, it's
Yeah, I think they have
phenomenal.
more than enough space to do that.
And I know that Darren is working on collaboration with some upper secondary education opportunities to rent some space. So colleges and stuff to rent some space there.
So the plan is to open in fall?
Yes.
That's the
not
last I've heard,
fully
I think phasing in.
phasing in.
I just know, I knew they came and they measured
Oh,
our
sure.
office stuff so that they could know what spaces and whatever, but I didn't get the feeling of
Sure.
what the plan was, but I'm assuming they want to be out of the mall to,
Yes, yeah, they do, because the mall has been
because,
a challenge.
yes.
Where is this new property?
It's right by Shutterfly.
Dean
It's
Lakes.
the Dean Lakes building when you're driving on 169. It's a really pretty building that sits close to the highway. And if you wouldn't know better, you would think that it was made to support the kind of education that Southwest Metro does.
It's beautiful.
It's just incredible.
And basically, the building was purchased for like, the mortgage payments are basically the same as what the lease
Yeah,
payments
it's cost
were.
neutral. I mean, it's,
And it's brand new, no
Yeah.
one's been in it before.
Yeah, there was somebody
Yeah.
in
Was
there. Yeah, there was, but very minimal wear and tear in the building. So,
Yeah.
Well, and if they can get income from rental of a college or whatever in their big score.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, because we were looking at having to, replace the roof and do quite a bit of, parking lot, quite a bit of repairs at the CAP agency building. And that whole area is kind of up in a quandary with all the development going on there. So, when we were able to sell off our part of that, it was cost neutral, so, to districts. So we pay Southwest Metro on a usage basis. The number of students that participate in the programs is what we get
Yeah.
billed for. And there's like, I can never remember, 11 full member districts, and now they've got, I think, 5 associate member
yeah.
districts.
I feel like we just added to
Yeah, we added
St. Mike.
St. Michael,
St. Michael.
Albertville.
And did Wasika come on
They, yeah.
as well
mhm,
recently? Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
okay. Sandy, did you have an APAC meeting?
Yes, we did. It was actually fairly short. We just discussed the budget and how much can be spent without pre-approval. The tutoring for Native American students is up and running. And then Sarah Miller is, they're making connections at the high school and trying to work on that, talking about like college visits, reimbursement, and scholarships, and what's being done to help Native students. It was a very quick meeting, but productive. So we'll have another one here coming up here shortly, I believe.
Thank you. Booster Club, Lauren?
I was in surgery that
You were
day.
in
They
surgery,
did not
that's
meet.
okay.
They did not have a December meeting.
I did
Okay.
not go.
Okay.
Understandably.
Yeah. SEAC, I don't think they met, did they? Connie? Okay. I think no other committee meetings? Okay. Any board, the only thing I, as a board member, want to say is welcome, Molly and Sarah. Glad to have you on board. Looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything?
Just welcome. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
MSBA.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
duh.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, you're all signed up for the MSBA Leadership Conference, which is going to be virtual, unfortunately. This year, it will be held Thursday, January 14th, January 21st, and January 28th. Thursday mornings, and hope in our calendar have the times posted there. So it's a free conference, but you need to register because they want to, they need to know who's going to be Zooming in. So it will look similar. They'll be having roundtables, they'll be having breakout sessions, they'll be having keynote speakers. They will have election. I think we have 4 or 5 MSBA board members up for election. So, yeah.
So are you gonna register basically for a separate Zoom link for every,
Yeah, Hope has to
Roundtable or session.
register,
Let me know if it's gonna register you.
yeah.
But how do we do roundtables and stuff then?
That's a good question.
well,
I
mean,
think it'll probably pop up in the Zoom, and then you
Yeah.
select
Yeah.
which round
I
table
bet
you
it's
wanna
like
go to.
face
Probably.
training.
And then you'll go into that Zoom classroom
Okay.
type thing.
yeah, if you've done like meeting rooms on Zoom,
Yeah.
you guys are
Yeah.
training that
Yeah.
one, so
Yeah.
like,
They
they're
break
just like,
out.
all right, now we're breaking
They
out,
break
and it's
out.
like, boom, and you're with
Yeah.
like 2 other
Oh,
people.
okay.
You're with new people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say it's similar probably to the trainings that we just
Yeah.
went through.
Yeah.
Right.
And I did ask them on there because I'm unable to attend because of work, and they said that they will be sending out the meetings.
The
Recordings.
content?
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll be able to go back and rewatch the whole thing again.
Yeah, the over 3 separate weeks is a kind of a tough deal.
It is, it is.
It
But, you know,
is.
they surveyed all the board members in the state of Minnesota, and that was what came out that they wanted people
Ugh.
to do, so.
It just
That was
won't be the
preferred-
same
It
as
won't, because
going-
it's always such a fun time. Darn.
It is the best conference. It really is. I love going to that conference every year, but I know I'm gonna have a struggle with Thursdays. That's like my meeting day. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, register and you can, so it's free?
It's free.
So right now I have Renee, Sarah, Connie, and Sandy registered.
What?
Sandy, she
So
said you're
register
registered.
me, and if I can join, I will join. So
Yeah,
register me.
I mean, register me as well. Sounds like you can sign up, right? Like you'll,
It's probably a
You'll
good
get a
idea
link
to
and you-
sign up, and then if you
And
can't
then
do
if
it
I have
that
a
day or
Sign
miss
up
it,
for
you
your sessions
can, you
with the
can,
link.
they'll
Watch it
have
later.
probably the keynotes and stuff that they'll run, you know, later, that you can connect into.
Yeah, please sign me up.
And I know that, they're on Facebook
I think she's got you, Sandy.
and on, yeah, you are signed up, Sandy.
Thank you.
On the MSBA homepage, they have, you know, that nice program booklet that we always got, so you can go in and see the workshops that they have and kind of know what you want to sign up for and do, so.
Okay.
And they are having, in the business meeting, there are some bylaw changes to the Constitution. So we'll be voting on that, so members will be asked to vote on that,
So
so.
Sarah and Molly, when you're looking at look at your committees, and so if there's something for like Booster Club,
Mm-hmm.
then make sure that you get to try to go to those roundtable things, because that will help you figure
Mhm.
out where you're supposed to go, you know. But by all means, look at all of them, because sometimes I just get, and I don't know where to go next, you know, whatever. But especially if like, they're changing rules, like Minnesota State High School League and stuff like that, when they're changing rules, you always want to get to one that
Yeah,
you can have as much information to make decisions as possible.
actually, Eric is gonna be one of the main breakouts instead, because the MSHSL breakouts, the rooms are always full, so they're doing him as a full board presentation for everybody this year. So that'll be good, because that's kind of a hot topic.
and are you passing the gavel?
I'm passing the gavel on January 28th. Mike Dolman, he is from Crosby Ironton.
Okay.
Great guy. Mike and I have been working side by side. We've been on the board for several years together, so he's the president-elect, so, yeah. It's been a good
Wow.
2 years.
So are you moving on to national then?
No. I'll be president, past president for 1 year.
Okay.
So when you get elected, it's a 4-year commitment. So the first year, you're president-elect, so you shadow. And then the next 2 years, you're president. And then the last year, you're past president. You work with the current president, so. But, yeah. Okay. Anybody have anything else? Y'all got Joe's email today with, updates on sports, and I'm glad to see that some arts is somewhat starting. and
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. The one-act play, I believe, right,
Yep.
Sandy? Yeah,
Yes.
that's good, and speech?
And speech, yes.
That's good. Okay, anybody else have anything else they want to add? If not, Ryan,
Motion to adjourn.
we are adjourned.
Second.
Can we stop to do roll call?
I suppose, roll call, we better. Yes.
Sandy Berger,
Yes.
Connie Henning,
Yes.
Lauren Pedersen,
Yes.
Brian Hager,
Yes.
Sarah Lehman,
Yes.
Yes. Okay, you lived through your first organizational
I
meeting.
know.